Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where I take trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand, and then I read them dramatically back to you, giving you a very interesting narrative so you understand what's going on in your comic books and basically can go buy the next book. Today we're going to be covering the brand new run of Venom that started recently, issues 1 through 3. And in this run we discover there's more to Venom than meets the eye. There was a loud boom at the gates of a Norse fort, and as a group of soldiers backed the doors from coming down, one of the soldiers shouts, asking, "Where the hell is Beowulf?" As he does, a black goo begins to seep through the cracks, grabbing onto the men. And as the lightning outside strikes, the gates give way, and the soldiers are ripped from inside out and put into the mouth of a snarling dragon. The dragon chews on the men, screaming something in a language that no one can understand, until there's no one left to hear it. Just then, there's another strike of lightning over New York City, and Eddie Brock wakes up in his bed in a cold sweat. He leans up asking, "Where are you?" And he sees Venom in a goopy mess on the floor. He says it's okay. There's just thunder outside, nothing to be afraid of, and Venom tells him, "Not scared of the storm. You saw it, right? The monster." Eddie says, "Yeah, I didn't know symbiotes could have nightmares." And Venom says, "Neither did I. Why does our mind hurt? What is wrong with us?" Eddie gets out of the bed telling him, "It's nothing. We're gonna be okay. We just need..." And Venom shouts, "Lying!" Eddie grabs the small container, taking a few pills, and Venom asks, "Why do you do this? We can be better. Please, don't kill your heart. Eat our brains." But as Venom goes on, his voice begins to fade until finally, Eddie can think without the voices. The antipsychotics are slowly drowning out Venom's screams, and then Eddie hears the police radio that Jack-O-Lantern has been spotted doing an arms deal and that they need backup. So he suits up even though he can no longer hear Venom speak, and he quickly rushes over to the warehouse that the police mentioned over the radio. As Eddie arrives, he doesn't actually go into the fight. He goes to take pictures. Since losing his job at the fact sheet, he's got to make money somehow. As the police move in, Jack starts firing at the officers trying to escape. That is, until Eddie knocks him to the ground. Jack falls to the ground, breaking his helmet, and the man inside yells, "Please, just let me go. I won't tell anyone that I saw you." But Venom kneels down, gouging out the man's eyes, stating, "No, you won't." Soon the officers run up to where Jack went, and that's when they see Eddie killing him, so they begin to shoot at Eddie. However, as Eddie gets up, he turns back and he begins to shout something in that ancient language that he heard in Venom's nightmare. And suddenly he's covered in strange red markings. Inside of his own head, Eddie is shouting at Venom, asking, "What's wrong?" And then something hits him in the forehead and it begins to beep. Eddie silently begs, "Whoever's there, please, just kill us. Before it's too late, kill us now. I don't know what this is." And as the explosion goes off, it engulfs the alleyway that Eddie is in, and shortly after, he leans up asking what just happened. A man stands over him stating, "On your feet, Thompson. The cops will be blind for another few minutes. We gotta hustle." Eddie asks, "Thompson? I'm not Flash Thompson." And the man asks, "You aren't? Well, that's kinda disappointing. Guess you'll have to do anyway." And then he fires a tranq dart into Eddie's neck. A short while later, Venom's telling Eddie, "You need to wake up. We need to kill this man." And Eddie screams to him to shut up. He looks around, seeing himself chained to a chair next to the furnace. And the man from before flicks a lighter, asking, "Is that hot enough for you?" Eddie asks, "What the hell is this, and what does he want with him?" And the man leans out from the shadows, revealing an old, scruffy face, stating, "I'm just gonna cut to the chase. I need help. I wanted Flash Thompson, but I guess that intel's a bit outdated." The man flicks the light closed, asking, "Do you know anything about Project Rebirth?" Eddie tells him, "Yeah, the program that made Captain America and nothing else good. A few years back, it was started up only this time using my other." The man laughs. "Never heard anyone call the symbiotes that before. Anyway, Flash wasn't the first one through that rebirth program with a symbiote. He was just the latest." The man holds up a picture of himself and a group of soldiers, telling Eddie, "My name is Rex Strickland, and I know more about the symbiotes than some may think. So let me ask you a question. Your symbiote is, what do you call it, other? You guys have been together a long time. What's its name? How old is it? What does it eat? What's its ideal temperature?" Eddie thinks and he simply says, "I'm not sure." And Rex says, "Well, I do, and I can help fix him." Eddie snaps, "I don't need to be fixed." And Rex asks, "Is that all right? Had any nightmares lately, Eddie?" Eddie pauses and then asks, "What do you want?" And Rex tells him, "It's simple. My partners, they weren't so lucky on getting away. They went on too many missions and got themselves permanently bonded to their symbiotes. They went insane and S.H.I.E.L.D. put them on ice. Right now, those men are being brought to one of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s black box sites to be destroyed. Those men, they were good men, and I can't let that happen." Eddie looks at the photo of the soldiers all wearing symbiotes, asking, "Where did you all come from?" And Rex says, "That's a good question. You want to help me find the answer? A short while later, Eddie heads into the underground tunnel leading to the black box site, and as the transport convoy starts to pass by, Eddie suits up charging at the truck. The two cars on the side spin around, and Venom walks towards them, with a soldier getting out asking, "Is that Venom? Shoot him!" Venom grabs one of the cars, throwing it into the other, and with no more gunfire, he makes his way back to the transport truck. As soon as he opens it, something explodes and a swarm of ancient-looking symbiotes begins to walk out. As they get closer to Eddie, they start to speak in that same ancient language, and Venom begins to separate himself from Eddie. Eddie shouts for Venom to come back, telling him, "If you don't, I'm gonna handle it myself." He lunges at one of the symbiotes, holding out its arm, stabbing it through Eddie's chest, and then making it out his back with a loud splunch sound. Eddie's body falls to the ground, and Venom returns, telling Eddie, "I'm gonna fix you." And Eddie looks up, seeing the symbiotes climbing back onto the truck. Just then there's a flash of light and an ear-piercing shriek, and the bodies of the old soldiers begin to fall out, separated from their symbiotes. A rumble starts to split the streets open, and a giant winged creature begins to shoot into the sky, with Eddie asking, "What were those things saying?" Venom tells him, "It's a dead language, not spoken in millions of years. They're saying, 'God is coming, Eddie.'" Before Eddie could lose consciousness, Venom begins repairing what he can on Eddie, squeezing his heart to get it to beat again. Later, back at Rex's hideout, he flicks his lighter, stating that maybe he's put his faith in a nobody, looking at the picture of his old squad. A few seconds later, Eddie's voice tells Rex that his men are dead. "You lied." Rex gets out of his chair as Eddie stumbles in, asking him, "What the hell happened? What do you mean my men are gone?" Eddie throws a metal barrel at Rex, telling him, "You send me to die. Whatever game you're trying to play, I ain't buying it." As the anger builds up, Eddie begins to feel Venom change into something more primal, and then he repeats the same language that the ancients began to say earlier. Eddie corners Rex around the furnace, and as Eddie gains control, he yells for Rex to move. Eddie rips the grate off of the furnace. As the fire burns, Eddie screams in pain, falling backwards, and Rex asks, "What the hell was that language?" Eddie rubs his face, asking, "Do you not know? Turn on the TV and see for yourself." Rex flicks on the TV to the news as a reporter begins to state that the people are describing what they say is an oil-covered dragon bursting out of the ground. He goes on explaining that whatever that thing is, it ripped the symbiotes off of your men, devouring them, leaving the soldiers as dead husks. Just what the hell did you bring us into? And Rex closes his eyes, stating, "I thought it was dead. Back during the war, we were hit with napalm after being shot to death trying to give my men some cover. When I woke up, all I could hear was Fury stating, 'Do it,' and then I was injected. I could feel the symbiote entering my veins, and I could see all of the horrible things that it did, even though it was just a piece of the damn thing. I knew it was something ancient, something older than us. It had wings, and when it spoke, I couldn't make out what it was trying to say. But now, after hearing it scream in my dreams, it says God is coming." The news continues, its report on the symbiote dragon, and as Rex watches, he says, "Okay, we're gonna need to come up with a plan, Eddie. We can't just..." But when he looks back, he sees Eddie is gone, and he simply says, "That's stupid." Out on the streets, the police race to the scene to try and fight the symbiote dragon, but as Eddie watches, he feels Miles Morales' Spider-Man appearing behind him. Time slowly begins to pass. How much time, Eddie doesn't know. All he knows is that when he opens his eyes, he can feel the primal instincts kicking in as he stands over Miles' body. It's at that moment that he realizes while he was in control, he was killing Spider-Man. Eddie leans down to bite off Miles Morales' head, but he manages to get the words out, "Kill me!" Miles tells him, "Fine by me," and he punches Venom back. He grabs onto the tongue and he tells him, "Just remember, you asked for this." With his other hand, he releases a shock into Venom's neck, ripping out his tongue. Eddie begins coughing as Venom just drips off of him. And he tells him, "I'm sorry. I'm not sure what happened, but thanks. My name is..." Before he could finish, Miles continues to punch him, shouting, "I know who you are! You're a monster!" Miles continues to beat into Eddie, and when he's finally got his strength back, Eddie suits up, grabbing Miles' foot, throwing him into a wall. He then webs him up, telling him, "Stop this! Just listen!" Miles yells, "No! You hurt my mother!" And Eddie stops, asking, Wait, what?" Venom pulls back the mask, revealing Eddie, and Miles goes on stating, "Something like you. I'm not sure anymore. Whatever it was hit my dad and then took my mom," and Eddie stops him, telling him, "Look, my name is Eddie Brock, and I do not know you. To the best of my knowledge, I didn't hurt your mother. But if we did, then we can settle that later. You have my word. But right now, we need to stop whatever that thing is from destroying the city. So how about we do the world a favor and kill that monster?" Miles gets up, telling him, "Fine, but when this is over..." And Eddie says, yeah, you ain't the first Spider-Man. Got any more of that thing you hit me with?" Miles tells him, yeah. It's called a Venom Blast." The two swing off the building with Eddie stating, "Good name." And Miles says, "Yeah, just shut up. I can release it all at once, but it pretty much leaves me wasted afterwards." The two get closer to the dragon with Miles asking, what is that thing? And Venom tells him, it's some kind of ancient symbiote like us, but... Miles says, worse, bigger, meaner, scarier, like a little uglier, but not by a long shot. And Venom yells, okay, let's do this. We need to get close so we can hit the dragon with your Venom blast. And Miles says, how do you propose we go about doing that without getting eaten? Venom says, eaten, huh? Good idea. And then he grabs Miles, throwing him into the dragon's mouth. Miles yells back, just so you know, I hate this plan. And the dragon chomps down, swallowing Miles whole. Eddie calls out, it's now or never. And suddenly the dragon's head begins to explode. The sound the dragon makes, it's something that Eddie will remember for the rest of his life. The sound of 1,000 jet engines wailing and screaming in horror. Except as the dragon falls apart, Eddie realizes that the dragon is screaming at him. Inside his head, it's roaring, screaming, and it's singing. He goes to check on Miles to see him still breathing, and then a voice calls out from above shouting, stop where you are and put your hands on your head. The man looks up at the police helicopter, and he holds out his arms towards it, and part of the dragon's body reaches out with him. The goop turns into a hand, grabbing onto the helicopter and then crushing it. And the man says, how small and fragile. As the helicopter explodes, Eddie can feel it again. He feels it fade away as his other takes control, but this time, he lets it. The primal Venom screams as his jaw unhinges, and the man smiles, showing his teeth, telling him, look at that. How beautiful. However, you cannot touch me. Venom swings, ripping away at part of that man's face, and as it slowly begins to reform, the man says, I pilot this vessel, but I am far, far away from here. The man holds out his hand towards Venom, telling him, stop. Then he hits Venom with a blast. Venom is blown away and he's ripped off of Eddie's body, and the man then uses the parts of Venom to create a dome around the three of them, stating, it's loud out there, let us be alone. Eddie picks himself up, asking, where am I? And the man says, my child, what has been done to you? Why are you in this place? Eddie shouts, telling the man, answer me. And the man says, your host is screaming, come to me, child. Venom slowly slithers over to the man, wrapping himself around him, and the man holds Venom up, stating, your host shuts you out, silences you. You are broken, shall I fix you? Eddie gets up, crawling, please, don't take it away, it's all I have, I can't be alone. The man pays him no mind, looking at Venom, stating, you have been infected by humanity. Let us burn that away from you. As a flash of light into Venom begins to screech, and Eddie yells, stop it, you're hurting him. But before Eddie could finish, the man grabs him by the throat, telling him, be quiet. You want to know what I am? Then allow me to show you. The man opens up his mouth as fangs pop out, and he tells him, I am Null, Lord of the Abyss, God of the Symbiotes. Okay, welcome to the end of the video. Now, when I said there's more to Venom than meets the eye, did anyone else's head go, Transformers, more than meets the eye? Yeah, totally. I had to bite my tongue to not say that in the intro. Anyway, guys, this is gonna bring you to the Null storyline, which is going to be issues 4 through 6, which kind of leads to the death of Venom. You'll find out what that means when I bring you the video, but make sure you subscribe to the channel because that video will be coming out very soon, or if you want to go buy the next issues, it is 4 through 6 to see where this goes. Because trust me, this is one of my favorite Venom storylines in the last, 10 years, since Agent Venom by Rick Remender came out. Okay? Anyway, don't forget to check us out over on Twitter, twitter.com/Comicstorian, where basically as we read comic books or we hear stuff with the TV shows, we tweet out about it, we talk about it, we see what's going on, and I'd really appreciate you hanging out with us over there. And you can also go check out our Discord. We have a rather large community there, and I am available to chat. Just go on in there, hit me up in the general chat, hit me up in the games. You can see what games I'm playing, come hang out with us. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time right here.